Hello everyone. Today I am going to tell you about a world famous person. He was an American business magnate, industrial designer, investor and a media proprietor. He was the chairman, chief executive officer and the founder of the Apple company. Yes, his name is Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was born in 24th of February 1955 in San Francisco, California, to an unmarried couple called Abdul Fattah Jandali and Jenny Shibble, and he was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs. His biological father Jandali was a Syrian political science professor, and his mother Shibble was a speech therapist. And his adopted father Paul was a machinist, and his adopted mother Clara was an accountant. From the childhood itself, Steve Jobs knew that his biological parents left him and now he is living with his adopted parents. As a boy, Jobs worked with his father on electronics in the family garage. Father Paul taught him everything about electronics, and Jobs showed more importance towards electronics. Jobs was always an intelligent and an innovative thinker. Because of his intelligence, the school administrator wanted to skip him ahead to high school, but the parents of Steve Jobs didn't accept this proposal because Steve Jobs was living in a very poor family. After high school, Jobs enrolled at Reed College in Portland. Lacking direction, he dropped out of the college after 6 months and spent the next 18 months studying in creative classes at school. In 1974, Jobs took a position as a video game designer with Atari. Several months later, he left the job and traveled to India to find enlightenment, and he traveled further in India and he started experimenting with psychedelic drugs. After that, Steve returned to America. In America, there was a person called Steve Wozniak who was trying to invent a new type of computer in the same company where Steve Jobs worked earlier. The friendship with Steve Wozniak changed the entire life of Steve Jobs. With the help of his partner, Steve Jobs started a new company in his home garage by selling his caravan, and Steve Wozniak sold his famous scientific calculator to start this company. And they named the company as Apple because Steve Jobs used to go to Apple farm near his home to share all his emotions. Because of that, they kept the name Apple to his company also. Somehow both of them successfully invented a computer called Apple I. Because of some problems in that computer, they made another colored user-friendly computer called Apple II. Steve Jobs doesn't know anything about programming or software developing. All the work was done by his partner Steve Wozniak. But Steve Jobs was an intelligent person in marketing. Because of his contribution, they two became millionaires in few years. After that, Steve Jobs started a new project called iMac, but he couldn't do it successfully because he couldn't maintain a good relationship with the employees of the company. Because of that, Steve Jobs left his own company. By selling the shares of his old company, Steve Jobs started a new company called Next. He said that he is going to make a computer with low cost for the students. Because of this, the whole world was excited about his new product. And a big company called IBM got to know this and they offered a deal to Steve Jobs, but he didn't accept that deal. After that only, IBM went to Bill Gates and they created a company called Microsoft. After that, Steve Jobs was interested in buying a new company called Pixar. Though Steve Jobs was an intelligent person in marketing, he couldn't take those companies to the next level. But Steve Jobs strongly believed in two animation softwares which was running in his Pixar company. With the help of those animation softwares, Steve Jobs created Disney production. And this took Steve Jobs to the next level in his life. With the help of this animation software, he created animation cartoons and films. And at the same time, the companies called IBM and Microsoft was increasing their standards. And the standard of Apple company was going down day by day. And Steve Jobs got to know this, and he again became the CEO of the Apple company. And in 1999, Steve Jobs successfully introduced iBook. In 2001, he introduced iTunes. And in the same year, he introduced iPods also. In 2007 only, Steve Jobs introduced iPhones, which is used all over the world. From the beginning itself, Steve Jobs was against to a company called Google because Google stole Steve Jobs' ideas and they sold it to a company called Android. Because of this, Steve Jobs was always angry with Google and he filed many cases against Google in the court. In 2010, Steve Jobs introduced iPad. In 2011, Steve Jobs introduced cloud computing with Bill Gates. And at the same time, the whole world got to know that Steve Jobs is affected by cancer. After Steve Jobs' retirement, he appointed Tim Cook as the CEO of his company and he believed that he will be the suitable guy for this job. And in 2011, October 4th at about 2 p.m., Steve Jobs passed away. The whole world showed sympathy towards Steve Jobs and the company Google, which is against Steve Jobs, they also created an article about Steve Jobs and they put it over the home page. Steve Jobs was known as the father of the modern technological world and he ruled the modern technological revolution more than 30 years. Though Steve Jobs is not living with us, his products and inventions is ruling the whole world. And that's all about Steve Jobs. Thank you. Thank you very much.